choose not to ride in the limo as your husband wishes, then I don't have any recourse but to follow you, do I? I have a job to do, Mrs. Dubujaks.
Yeah, and you're preventing me from doing mine at the moment. You know, you blew a very important police contact. He's probably, over the Canadian border by now.
Well, my condolences.
I don't get it. Are you just being fresh or, stupid?
Well, I hope neither one, madam.
Don't call me madam. Listen, I'm not going to drive with you today, tomorrow, the next day, ever. You got that?
Well, shall I pass your suggestion along to your husband, or you want to take care of that?
Why don't you, get lost, Erik?
He must have threatened her. That's the only thing I can...
Wait a second. What do you mean threatened her?
I mean, that's the only way Lizzie would let him get away with all that stuff. I mean, couldn't you see? Couldn't you tell? I gotta go after him.
No.
Wait, John,
No.
What? You don't know him like I did. Didn't you see Lizzie looking at him, lying his rotten head off? I mean, she couldn't even look me in the eye. And it's like she was shrinking into herself.
Well, it is a possibility that she could have had a change of heart.
No, it's not.
Well, wait a minute. You said that she's easily led on.
No, see, but she doesn't want to be tied down with a baby, but she has to pretend because she's terrified of him. Couldn't you tell?
Actually,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, she must have scared the hell out of her to make her shut up like that. You guys couldn't see. What's wrong with you two? You bought his whole phony act, didn't you?
Told you it was a flea bag. Keep your remarks to yourself.
I wasn't going to say anything. I've seen worse.
Yeah, well, I can't compete with those fancy lawyers. They're all a bunch of extortionists anyway. They don't make their money clean. Well, how'd I do, Miss Lizzie? What do you think the Ryans make of Harlan Ransome now?
He seemed really concerned about Lizzie and about the baby. Not like this monster that you described in the
What
video.
did you expect? Him coming in breathing fire or something?
No, John, of course not. But he seemed well-meaning. He was willing to sit down and discuss a very difficult situation and willing to compromise.
Compromise? You should see him when he has a few drinks under his belt. Can't you see that he's conning you?
Well, if he's conning us, I can imagine what he'd do to a judge and a jury. And believe me, he won't be carrying a bottle into the courtroom. I'm sorry, John, I really am, but he just impressed us as somebody that was really caring about Lizzie and Owney and about their welfare.
John, you have to realize that Jill and I are trying to look at this from a lawyer's perspective. Right. We're trying to get away from the emotional attachment we have to you and Owney. It's very, very hard. But I have to tell you that from that perspective, Harlan Ransome's position is going to look very good in court.
Okay. You want unemotional? You want objective? Fine. How's this? He's a liar, he's a drunk, he's a sadist, and he's a child beater. Is that enough?
John, hey, listen to me. We know that you were fighting for this baby, and we understand that. But you cannot view this dispassionately, and we can. And you have to understand that Frank and I are behind you 100%. You've got to know that.
You know that, John. We need more information on our adversary, that's all. We need to be specific. Specific, like, Was he ever hard enough on Lizzie? Did he beat her enough to where she had to go see a doctor? Medical records. What about the neighbors? What about the people that knew him in the town? Did Harlan get drunk enough to become out of control? Verbally abuse the girl?
Yeah,
physically abuse?
They must. I mean, in a small college town like Bridgewater, I mean, everybody knows everybody on a personal name basis. So, I mean, everybody knows that Harlan is a drunk. Everyone knows how he treats Lizzie, and that Lizzie's petrified of him. I gotta go get her out of there.
John.
John,
please.
wait.
Okay, look, I know him, and I know what comes next. I'm sorry. You just watch Owen for me?
Yeah, sure, of course. Oh, this is great. This is just great.
I don't know. I don't know about that boy. I'll tell you one thing. He's just like his mother. He's just like Delia. He exaggerates. He stretches things right out of proportion. Maybe Harlan's character is somewhere in between the two versions, huh?
You know what this reminds me of? That movie, Rashomon. You know, one event viewed by 3 different people, you come up with 3 different stories?
What are you saying? You don't believe Jono's version?
No, of course I believe him. I just don't think he knows Lizzie as well as he thinks he does. I mean, first she says, oh, take the baby, and I'll leave and split. I don't buy it. I don't think that she wants to lose either one of them.
Well, if that's the case, he certainly has one hell of a trump card, and that trump card's name is Owney.
What?
I don't know, Jim. I think all that we can do right now is just stack the deck very heavily on Jono's side. That's all we can do. And you know what else? I think what I'm going to do is take a little drive up to Bridgewater and check out Harlan Ransome on his own turf.